Hypothesis is nothing special for CRO. It's just like any other scientific hypothesis. It's essentially a theory that you have that serves as a basis for investigation. It's the foundation for any like A/B test or experiment that you're wanting to run on your site, on your app, in your catalog, wherever, right? It's just anytime you want to make some sort of evaluative comparison. It contains all the information that you need to construct and execute the experiment. And there's three main criteria. It needs to be understandable, actionable, and measurable. And the way that we put that together is you want to have a standardized formatting for how you write the hypothesis. So that's going to ensure consistency and making sure that you have all of the necessary information contained to have a well-constructed hypothesis, which leads to a well-constructed experiment. Essentially, think of it like on the most basic level, it's an if this, then that framework. Certainly, you want to be maybe a little bit more complicated there in the data points, but that's a hypothesis at its core. The way that we construct them is we sort of take the CRO acronym and apply it to each of those three criteria. So for C, you have comprehension. So you're identifying and understanding the problem. You're making some sort of observation using an observation method. An example of this would be, you have observed reduced revenue from lower average order value, or AOV, by comparing the last 6 months of purchase data from your order management system. You have an observation that you've made via an observation method. So you're understanding the problem. And then R is your response. So this is the action that you're going to take that you think will solve the particular problem that you've identified. The variation being a description of what you're going to accomplish, location, where you're going to execute the experiment, and then an audience, who is the experiment going to be applied to. An example of this would be, we want to promote paired products with an inline upsell at the cart page for returning users with an item already in their cart. So the variation is you're going to show an inline upsell UI with paired products that are relevant to items that the user already has in their cart. The test is going to run on the cart page, and it's only going to run for users who have an item already in their cart. Obviously, it wouldn't make sense to show paired upsells to someone who happens to come to the cart page with no items in their cart already, right? The variation wouldn't trigger because it wouldn't show any information, right? And then your outcome. So what is the result that you want to achieve? So this is measuring information about the actions that are taken with the test. You have a primary user KPI. So this is the behavior change that you're trying to affect with the test. Primary business KPI. So this is the business benefit that will result from the test. And then secondary metrics. So these are support metrics or guardrails where you're like, this will help fill in additional information, provide context, or a guardrail to make sure that like you're not negatively affecting other things. An example of this is this test should increase average order size, which will improve AOV with measurement backed up by upsell, add to carts, multi-item purchase count, order conversion, and revenue. So you can see CRO framework, comprehension, response, outcome, maps to the hypothesis being understandable, actionable, and measurable.